This is the book Isaiah 19 and 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and the fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the power of hosts. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Arkham, pushing this word in sincerity and truth. This is your brother. I sat back at you with another lesson, will edifying. And basically, the scripture here is hey, it basically signifying, hey, America's destruction, hey, coming with it, because I have a few clips to play videos because I've seen Babylon thing is getting much harder, right? And even with the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right? The decision making and the doge and all these things, a lot of job losses. They moving out from investing in certain, areas, and a lot of job losses there, Hey, and the economy is getting much more tough, and Trump's move is the bill that he passed concerning the tax cuts for basically the business owners and the elites. Hey, it's just to make the poor in a more low position, and the rich to fatten, But hey, this here is gonna be the end of this man's kingdom, as we have been prophesying. It's written, and we know the Lord's word, that basically it will surely come to pass, So let's go here first.
Trump's agenda on the day of the president's military parade. They cap a week of demonstrations against immigration raids that began in Los Angeles and spread nationwide. Today's events in about 2,000 cities and towns were organized by the No Kings movement, which calls the administration's actions authoritarian. There were rallies near Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in West Palm Beach, Florida.
No ICE! No KKK! No fascist USA!
In Boston, where it was raining, in Atlanta, with Proud Boy counter-protesters looking on, and in Philadelphia, the flagship No Kings rally. Local officials urged protesters to demonstrate peacefully and avoid blocking roads. The No Kings protests were organized by a coalition of groups. Lisa Gilbert is co-president of one of them, Public Citizen, a progressive advocacy group. Lisa, what have you been hearing from across the country about crowd turnout?
Yeah, because it's a millions turnout nationwide for No Kings protests, right? Because, hey, going back to the scriptures, the scriptures say that when the wicked is in authority, hey, the people them just mourn, right? Here it is with the ICE program. Trump is getting rid of a lot of the immigrants. I did a video concerning many farmers and whatnot having to shut down the business because of the deportation of the immigrants, and it were immigrants that were workers at the farms and whatnot, and all of that would trickle into affecting the economy, because the Lord is basically in control of all stuff, and he's setting up Babylon for the fall. That's why I've seen, from since the past few years, they have been making steps, into basically laying themselves into a trap, because it's all, the Lord is so powerful that, and the mighty chess player, that he's basically making them think that they making moves to actually uplift their system back, because pursuant to the Jeremiah, we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. So this is all going to prophecy, that this is all the attempts, Trump trying to raise the the standard for the American workers, get rid of all the non-Americans, the immigrants, pump back, so jobs in the economy. But hey, they're not looking upon that they already affecting through the decisions a lot of people in America. But it's when the righteous and the authority, the people rejoice. He ain't not rejoicing. There's many that they regret voting for Trump. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And that is why I've seen, all these protests and whatnot, because it's mourning from the people. I have another thing here.
Weeks after I graduated high school, I had heard people say if you vote for this, you're going to get what you voted for. But that's what people say every election.
A catastrophic wave of layoffs is hitting electricians in Maine. It may be a preview of hundreds of thousands of jobs that could be lost nationwide after President Trump and Republicans just repealed billions in clean energy investments.
It was like a light switch got opened, and all of our work just disappeared overnight.
We went to Maine, where a solar boom has already come to an abrupt halt.
I got laid off at the beginning of May. I haven't gotten any calls yet.
I'm on unemployment right now, and in the state of Maine, that's $595 per week, and I pay rent. That's $1,350 a month.
This has nothing to do with our local union or the companies around us getting jobs. It solely comes down to what's happening in our federal government right now.
Yeah, and everyone has actually seen the choices that the cruel Lord, which is Trump, is making. It's affecting the people, and hey, we know that's all. It is all prophecy, right? Because hey, the Lord is working upon your destruction in many different ways, right? Another article: U.S. jobs market slow down as business cope with Trump trade war uncertainty. Yeah, let's say May's job report was dragged down by the loss of 22,000 federal workers' jobs as Doge cut positions. The U.S. economy added X amount of jobs in May is slowed down compared with recent months as American business cope with uncertainty after Trump continuing trade war. After signs of strong labor market in April, which was largely seen as resilience against teetering trade policy from the White House, May saw a drop in new jobs added to labor market, according to new data. Yeah, because hey, this place here is basically about to go down, so you ain't seen nothing well in this place. The book of Isaiah 19 and verse 40. The Lord had mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. So the Lord is the one that in the control of these kings, and he placed a perverse spirit upon the rulers, right? A spirit of confusion and deception. And they have caused Egypt to err. And you see, they basically, building traps for their own selves, with all the decisions that they're actually making. It's putting America, when they're thinking they're gonna uplift her and heal her, they're actually setting traps and making the economy more hard. Nations doing less trade with the US dollar. There's the BRICS alliance, and then there's Trump pushing in every war. Because this man, he desires as hell, and neither does he keep at home. Hey, that's why the scripture even say the least of the flock is gonna draw them out, because on every side Babylon is making enemies. Even Iran is basically vaunting and hey, they come out proudly saying that hey, because what because of what the US did, so said bombing the nuclear plant and whatnot, hey, they're gonna attack their bases. That is why Trump had to roll out soldiers in certain embassies and whatnot. Yeah, because hey, the Lord is setting up that vibration for the destruction of America. And they have caused Egypt to earn every way thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. So just like a drunken man, Yapa, metaphor, because a drunken man, he would basically make certain moves and actions, and it's like he not thinking of the consequences. Yeah, as a drunk, staggered, as a drunk man staggered in his vomit. Yeah, the Lord is control. Let's say verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, because they see how many job losses, immigrants basically being removed, which the head or tail or branch or rush may do. Right? In that day shall Egypt be like unto woman, because that is the Lord's plan for America. And it shall be against afraid, and because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. Yeah, and how the Lord is shaking it by basically putting all these different things into the mind of the cruel Lord, via the angels, as the scripture says in the book of Job, by the vision of night, deep sleep falleth upon men. When the Lord seal it, the instruction, you must forget, and because the scripture says man's going is of the Lord. Job 33:16, he that opened the ears of men and sealed their instruction. Job 4:30, and thoughts. Right. Job 33:15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men in slumbers upon the bed, then he opened the ear of men and sealed their instruction. Yeah, so the Lord is actually in control of all these stuff. Proverbs 20:24, a man's going is of the Lord. Right? Because the Lord's intention for Babylon is for it to fall. The book of Isaiah, for the 14th chapter, and verses 10. Verse at 9. It's a hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It state of the dead for the even all the chief ones of the earth. Because as I seen, a lot of these nations starting to hate Babylon. Right? It raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Yeah, because the nation rising up and speaking against Babylon proudly now. As pertaining to the prophecy, the weak saying they are strong, because in these times the Lord has all these other nations, investing the money into nuclear arms and artilleries and whatnot and weapons of war. Right? It say, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as us? Because America know who's to pick, who there is to pick on. They wouldn't just go out and attack Russia when Zelensky came to America. America cried out, stop the war and make peace and whatnot, because America ain't wanna go into a full-fledged war, even with Iran. Iran and Israel. You didn't hear he replied and say that, you guys, you don't know what you want to do, Yeah, many times he tried to play the peace role, but we know these devils, there are no peace with these devils. They love war. You know? Let's see. Art thou become like unto us, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy voils, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Because what's the purpose of worms? When you see worms, it's because it actually rotten from the inside. The worms decay the material from the inside. So this here is a representation. There's been a decay on Babylon's economy, a fall of, a depletion, or a deterioration of Babylon's economy from within. Yeah, and that is basically what's taking place, because the Lord have many different ways that He's working upon Babylon, right? Jeremiah 51 and 12, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up watchmen, prepare the ambush. For the Lord had both devised and done that which He spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Right? O thou that dwellest upon many waters, upon many people, because the waters represents people, nations and tongues. Abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the treasure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts had sworn by Himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as the caterpillars, and shall lift up His shout against thee. He hath made the earth by His power. He had established the world by His wisdom, and had stretched out the heaven by His understanding. Right? Yeah. Basically that is verse 12. Yeah. And in the end all Babylon the Great is gonna be destroyed by nuclear missiles. Right? Going back to verses 9. Jeremiah 51:9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For judgment reacheth into heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salute unto you. Shalom until the next.